Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of First Time Watch Fridays on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and we're this is the last of the month, and this is the last of the popular month. And I'm calling, as I've said before, I'm calling it that because we're doing popular movies. So we did popular type movies. Now, these aren't popular movies, that I haven't seen. That might be another thing, but these are movies that are very subgenres that are very popular at the moment. We did a shark movie, we did an Amityville movie, sort of. We did a Ouija movie, sort of, and we're doing a sort of doll movie, sort of. So let's go right into it. So this movie here is called An Evil Tale, and so I went on Tubi and I looked up doll, and I was just and An Evil Tale was like down below because it doesn't have the first name be doll. So I was like, okay, what is this? And I looked at it and I was like, okay, it's a doll movie. It was filmed in Florida. I looked into it a little bit and I was like, all right, let me give it a try. So if you checked my Letterboxd out, you would have seen that I reviewed this movie. I gave it 2 stars. So I gave it 2 stars, and I'll tell you why. And it's not because it's a. Did I get less than 2 stars? I might have gotten less than 2 stars. I know I've been thinking about giving it 2 stars. Then I gave it. Okay, I give 1.5, and so it's less than two. I give it 1.5 because it is pretty bad. It's not the greatest movie. However, it's not. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I can't even say it's not the worst. It's not, but it's pretty bad. It's up there. I almost feel like this might have gotten like a 30 on the stinkometer. So we'll see if we review this sometime in the next couple seasons of Indie Film Cafe, because I was surprised by it. I actually was shocked at how it was, because I never heard of it. So basically, to give you an example of one of the scenes, the main girl was in bed next to her husband, supposedly, but we never see him. Now, I thought that because they were shooting it after a while, like where it's just focused on her, but then they slid over a little bit, and you could see there was nobody there. She was talking to herself, and then there's like a muffled ADR kind of voice talking back to her. So my thing is, I know indie films, and when I see that, I go, oh, the person canceled on that day or couldn't make it, had to work, couldn't, wasn't getting paid, so it was like, let me not show up or whatever. And then we'll just work around him. The problem is, you gotta be careful, because you gotta shoot on the upper opposite side, so you never see that he's not there. But also, when you do that, it makes the audience wonder, why is she talking to herself? And why isn't that, like, if you did ADR with him like muffling and saying something, or whatever, it could work if you could see that there was nobody there. You could literally see that the bed on his side was empty. She left a motel room, where I think it was the same place, and the bed was empty. There was a time where she was talking to a lady. This was earlier. She was talking to a lady about the box that she bought, or their husband bought. And and almost felt like it for a second. I was like, is the husband even real? Like, is she imagining this stuff? Is it fake? Is it, like, what is going on? But then you see him with the crowd of people, you see him other times. So it was just like, he really, really couldn't make it a lot of times. And I don't know. I looked him up, and I think this is like his only movie, and I can now see why, because you're not going to show up for your own to one movie you're in. That's not usually a good sign that you really actually want to be a part of this movie. Um, But yeah, I was pretty unimpressed by this guy and by um by everything. I there the CGI was laughably terrible. Looks like something like elementary school kids could do. Um and probably might have done. I don't know who did the visual effects, if it was the director. The direction was pretty bad. The acting was okay at times. At least that's the thing I kind of liked about it. I mean, um, I at least enjoyed some of the acting and some of the except okay. So there's a lady who's like apparently that one guy that wouldn't show up, and his uh grandmother or something, or aunt. I can't tell what, I forgot. They said it in the beginning, but I don't know what she was. I don't think she couldn't have been the grandmother. She was not that old. But maybe aunt or something. She was, at first she was really way too over the top. And then at times she would calm down, and then she would go back to being over the top. And it was usually when she got mad at the person. And I'm like, why are you getting mad? Like, you have no reason in the world to get mad, but you get mad. She get like furious. So, for no reason, you know. But yeah, so this was just sort of I don't know, it's just not this lady was just sort of annoying. Trying to oh, and she was supposed to be like, from her family, supposed to be Scottish, and I get it. She was supposed to be a descendant of Bonnie, Prince Charlie, and they made some kind of stupid joke about Robert Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, what? Huh? Like, what? Why? How is that even like remotely close? And why is that even remotely funny? Um, but it was memorable because I remember that line in it because how terrible it was. Um, then my favorite character was this woman right here. She was nuts. I liked her. She was good. At first, she was sort of like this like jealous wife, character, which kind of was boring, But then her character became like possessed by whatever this shit is. I don't know. Is it a doll? Is it a like at one point the Scottish lady's all freaking out and she's like, I say Scottish lady, she did not have a Scottish accent whatsoever. And she kept calling everybody laddie, like the guys laddie. Oh, laddie, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you're talking in like a Floridian accent, like you cannot, it didn't even sound Floridian, but she sounded like American. And I get it. Like her family came from Scotland to over here, and she's probably spoke English all her life. Then don't say laddie. Laddie is a completely Scottish thing that usually guys, I've never really heard a woman keep saying laddie in movies or in life. So you don't usually see that, but and then her name was like Mac or something. And I was like, is she short for Mackenzie? But then like they just kept calling her Mac. And then at one point it sounded like they were talking about a he. And I was like, was this meant for a dude? And then they just rewrote it last minute for a woman. That was probably it. That is probably what happened. I am now completely understanding this movie. Um, I'm glad I'm understanding it now because I did not understand it at all when I watched it. I was very confused. And if you tell me, oh, that means it's a good movie because then you have to watch it a second time to fully understand. No, if you can't understand the first time, you know, um, there's nobody's gonna want to see it a second time. Um, the thing about confusing the audience is you want to make the audience not feel confused. You want them to feel like they understand it, then somebody else go, no, 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 like Donnie Darko. Like you go, oh no, I understand this movie, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody go, no, I understand it's this way. This movie doesn't give that because I don't understand it at all. Like I can't figure it was a curse. Apparently they did a lot of exposition, and I still couldn't get what was going on. Was like apparently these killers are coming after them that were like from an ancient cult or something. I don't know. And I didn't understand it whatsoever. Like I could not follow what was going on. So anyway, and it was Scottish stuff. Like it was stuff about Bonnie Prince Charlie or whatever his name is. I don't even remember the guy, the thing's name. And I think they picked that guy because they probably knew a little bit about him. But I was like, I mean, okay, you could have made up a name for somebody, and I would have been like, oh, okay, it didn't have to be a real person. But I mean, I guess they tried to make it cool with it. I don't know. Honestly, it was pretty bad. But I will say this, I was very entertained by it. I was entertained by the badness. I loved watching the terrible CGI that happened every like 5 minutes. Like, okay, here's another thing for whoever's making the next movie like this or whatever. Pacing. Pacing is key. The biggest part of pacing is not giving us trying to scare us every 5 seconds, it's or giving us something like somebody looking over the shoulder and then they're not there and hello, like I'm putting my makeup on. Oh, will you stop shaking the door? That's not scary at all. Like and the music was atrocious. Oh, and the last thing I have to say, because I'm gonna end this now. But the credits were all mixed up, and I don't know if that was like the idea or something, but like generally you start out with a film by, then you do the cast that's in it, then you say the name of the movie, then you do the music and the cinematography, editing, and then you go producers to the director. This started with the director and then worked its way backwards and then into the middle and then toward the end, like it went all over the place. And I was just like, this movie is just like, I should have known that was what I was getting myself into when I saw that. I should have been like, oh, so it's going to be this kind of movie. Oh, and by the way, they have it start out with like her killing an intruder, and it comes back later, but like, why? Like that didn't even start the whole thing. Like that in itself was nothing to do with the rest of the story. And I don't know, it was just bad. If you don't believe me, go watch some of these reviews and whatnot from other people. And yeah, I'm not the only one who feels this way about it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little review, and if everybody's doing well, let me know, and join us next month. I will let you guys know next month what the theme of the whole month's going to be. It's going to be 5 weeks, and I have a theme in mind, but I don't want to announce anything just yet until I start doing it. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you later. Bye.